Now our template has almost everything, but there is no navigation bar. So in this video we are going to add a navigation bar at the top of our web page. I left this for the last because this may be the most complex thing we are going to do in this entire project. Unlike Bootstrap, the Tailwind CSS is an utility framework, so there is no built-in component like navigation bar which is present in Bootstrap. There is no built-in elements in Tailwind CSS, so we need to create the navigation bar. So we are going to use almost everything we have learned so far about the Tailwind, and also we are going to use a little bit of JavaScript to make the menu responsive. So without any further ado, let's get started with it. Now we need to add the menu at the top. Just after the body tag, I am going to open another div. Let's give it a background color of white, and we can also give it a shadow of medium, and inside it we are going to put our menu. So this div will take the entire height of the web page. Now we need to put the menu inside a container because otherwise it will not have any gap at the left and right. So we can use this maximum height. So let's do that. Let's create a header tag with the class of container and also mx auto to make the container center. Let's also give it a maximum height of 7 pixels. It is kind of more than the section here, so it has this maximum height of 5 pixels, and we are going to make this menu a little bit wider than the other elements because it looks good that way. So in this menu navigation bar, we will have a icon or logo at the left side and the navigation item at the right side. So we can use an flex for that, and also item center to make the items aligned in center. We can also add some padding in the x direction and also padding in the y direction. Padding y, let's try 4, or maybe we can generalized apply padding 6, so it will apply on both top and the bottom, left and right. So this is our wrapper of the navigation bar. Now let's add the icon here or the logo. So we are actually going to create an logo here by Tailwind CSS. So let's keep it simple and let's put it inside a div here, and inside this div I am going to paste an SVG. It is the icon for Tailwind CSS. Let's save it, and I think we can see it now. So this is the Tailwind CSS icon, and we can also add some text here. So this is the finishing of the SVG. Let's add an span here because if we use div it will be block level element. Let's add in text, and I am going to make the font semi bold, and let's give the text a size of XL, extra large, and let's try font title, maybe Tailwind News. Okay, they are aligned in different line because this is not a flex, so we are going to use the flex box with it. Now they are in the same line, but this text is little bit higher than this icon. We can apply item center to make them centered. Item center. Now they are fine, but we need to change the color. So this is the SVG here, and we are going to apply the color on the entire div. So let's do that. Let's give it a color of text secondary. Now all of this has this color of text secondary. We can actually change the color on hover. On hover, let's get this a class of text, maybe primary. Okay, it is working, but we need to change the cursor. When we hover on that, we can do that in Tailwind CSS. It will be cursor dash, and we need the pointer. Okay, it is fine now. We can also add a transition with it. This transition will only add 150 millisecond with it. It is not very good, but it gives a subtle effect on that. So we have got the logo. Now let's add some menu with it, menu items. So we have given this header a flex. I think this is it, flex. So this should be at the left side, and we need to put the items or the menu items in another div. We can directly use the nav tag. Let's also give it a font of font title. Now inside it we are going to use an unordered list. Let's give it a class of text large, so the menu items will be larger. Then inside it we need an list item, so we need to give it some classes like inline block, otherwise they will be aligned in vertical direction, but we don't want that. Let's make the items center, and also the title. Actually we don't need that, we already applied the font title here. Now inside it we need an anchor tag. Let's give the text a color of text primary, and when we hover on that we need to give it a hover and maybe text secondary. Also let's add the transition. Let's give it a text of home. Now we can just copy and paste this a few more times, but in future we are going to need some other classes with it. Let's change the text about and contact. Let's try products and shop. Let's save and have a look. Now this is the by default flex property, and in here the align items is center. We have applied that, but justify content is start now, so we need to give this a justify content in between. So in Tailwind CSS we can apply the class of justify between. Now there will be gap among them. We also need to add some margin and padding with it because they are congested. So we are going to add the margin at the right side of it, so it will apply it on first, second and third item. So let's do that. Let's add it with the li margin right of 4. We can copy and paste this in here, here and here. Now it should have some gaps among them. Now the hover effect is also good. So this looks fine for larger display, but for a smaller display it will look as you can see. So let's add some icon in here, such as hamburger icon. When we click that, the menu should slide down. So I'm going to apply this hamburger icon or this responsive menu for a smaller size display than the medium. So that's why we are going to apply the medium breakpoint with it. So when the display size will be smaller than the medium, the menu item should be hidden, and Tailwind CSS has a class for that which will be hidden. But before applying this, we need to do something else. So in mobile size or the smaller sized, we want the items to be block, not inline block. So we can apply this for medium, and for smaller it will be block. We need to apply this block with every other elements here. Let's copy this. Sorry, we also need to apply the medium breakpoint. otherwise it will be inline block. Okay, now they are aligned, but we don't want it here. We can push it back at the bottom. We can do it by giving it a void of full, so it will take the 100% void, and we are going to do this with the navigation bar. So when it cross the medium, let's give it a void of auto, but before that it should have void of full, so it will take the entire void. Okay, now in order to push it, let's wrap it around, because this here is not flex wrap, so we can apply class of flex wrap with it. Now they are in the next line. Okay, everything is fine, but they are too much congested because they doesn't have any padding at the y direction or margin, so we also need to add that. We are going to add it with the list item, so we can actually select multiple cursor here. So let's give it a margin I of 3, and for medium size we don't need the margin I, so we are going to make it 0. It's too much, so we are going to make it only margin bottom. I think it will look fine now. Now let's work on the navigation, the hamburger icon, and we already have used the hero icon maybe once, and we are actually going to do that again. So in a smaller display, smaller than the medium, there will be an hamburger icon here. When we click that, it slides down, then there will be a cross icon, and again if we click that, it slides up. So we need 2 icons for that. So for now, let's make this nav bar invisible, so we can use hidden class with it, so it will make the visibility hidden. Okay, now it is gone. Now we need to add the button. For that we are going to create another div here, and these icons should be invisible for larger display, like larger display size than the medium. So when the display size will be larger than medium, it will be hidden, but before that it will be block, and inside it we are going to add our buttons here. So let's add the first button, and we also need to give it some class. Let's make it rounded, and we also need to give it a background color. So let's try secondary, and the text color will be white. It's actually not text, the SVG icon, it will be white. Again is the background secondary, it will look fine, and when we hover on that, it will have a color of, the background color of purple. Let's try the shade of 900, and we also need a transition, and inside it we are going to add our SVG icons. So let's go to the hero icon, and we need a hamburger. We can use it. Okay, it's copied, so we can paste it here. So this is our icon. I think we should increase the padding, so let's use a padding in the x direction of 3, padding in the y direction of 1. Okay, it looks fine. Now let's just copy the button, and we need a cross icon here. Let's remove the SVG, and let's search for a cross icon. I think it will work. So this is our icon, but in normal condition we don't need to show this, so we are going to use a class of hidden with it also, so it will be invisible for now. When we click this icon, then it will be invisible and the cross icon will display itself, and we need to alter the classes for that, and we are going to use JavaScript to make it happen. We need to create our JavaScript file for that. So this is our dist folder, and there is a file for CSS, and we are going to create another folder for JavaScript. Let's open a new file of script.js. So this is our script.js, and we also need to link it with the index.html. Okay, let's do that. Script search, it's in the JS folder, then script.js. Now we can add our script here, but before doing that, we are going to give the elements some IDs. So how do we need? We actually need to target this icon or this button, then the cross button, and the menu items. So this is the first one, this is the second button. So let's add an ID with it. I'm going to give this ID of menu open, and the second one should menu close. Now we also need the navbar because we need to alter this hidden also. So let's give it an ID of menu items. Okay, now we have given this all this ID. Now we need to go to the script.js and do something. So we want to add some event listener. When we click on this button, something will happen. So that's what we are going to do. Document dot get elements by ID, and when I click on the menu open, it has this ID of menu open. We can just copy this, and we are going to add the add event listener with it. Now the first one is the event, which is click. When we click on that, something will happen, and the second one is a callback function. We are going to use an arrow function for it, but it should not be plus. Okay. Now we need to toggle the classes in here. So let's do that. Document and again get elements by ID, and now when we click on the menu open, this navigation bar should be visible. So we need to target this menu items, and we are going to get the class list and toggle. The class name is hidden. Okay, when we click on that, it shows itself, but we need the cross icon when we click on that. So we are again going to, actually let's copy and paste this. Now we need to make it visible. So the menu close is already hidden. This menu close is already hidden, so it will remove the hidden class, so it will be visible. It is visible, but now we need this to be hidden. So it will be this menu open. I think it should work perfectly fine, but there is an issue here. We have added the event listener with this menu open, but there is no event listener with the menu close. So that's why we are going to copy this, and it will be the same for menu close. Now if we click this, it opens and the cross shows here. Then if we again click this, it's gone, and again the menu hamburger icon. So we don't actually need to repeat this in 2 times. We can just cut this and put it inside a function. Let's name it toggle menu, and I'm going to paste it here. So if we just use this function, and again we can just apply the function in here. Okay, now it works fine, but let's see what's happened for larger display. Now it is hidden because we have given this a class of hidden. Now we don't want the hidden class for larger size display than the medium, so we can actually apply flex with it. So display will be flex. Now it's visible. Now let's also make the item center. I think it's okay if we decrease the size of the window. When it becomes smaller than the medium, there should be the hamburger icon, and if you click that, it's slash down, slash up. So this is our complete template, and we have done our project perfectly. It's looking fine, but if you want to add something else, you can add it, or you can do any modification if you want. Now you need to practice Tailwind CSS by creating more and more projects. So when we create projects, you will get familiar with it, and after that it will become very easy for you. So this is it for this project, and see you in the next video.